and welcome into this week's podcast. So this week's podcast is literally how streaming has affected relationships. I do have it in two little separate sections, mainly because I understand down how life is. And one of our people who wanted to be in it wasn't able to make it to the main podcast. But I at least helped them and try to get a little bit of just at least a voice clip from them. So that's what you'll see at the end. There's ShanesWorld. You've seen him here before, so go check him out. I'm going to see if I can try to find maybe their campsite or a link tree and try to put that in the link below. So one of the guests that we also have is Spanky. I will also put his Twitch stuff down below as well. So they're amazing, Shane's amazing, and hopefully you guys enjoy this podcast. A lot of this, this topic in general is not really spoken about in general. They don't, people don't see on how hard it is to actually be a content creator. They just see the character that is output.
Oh yeah. No, I straight up had to start trying to intentionally stream multiplayer games because I got to a point where I realized I hadn't talked to any of my friends in a month. I was I've spent maybe half an hour talking to my closest friends and over the course of 30, 40 days.
And
but it was also right when I was getting started, and that was right when I was really trying to pound the pavement and get a bunch of content out there. And I did. I mean, I got fucking 300 hours worth of content or 200 hours worth of content in 2 months. So
I'm still working on that. I have not even hit 250 hours on Twitch.
I also dedicated a lot of time when I had my time off school and shit like that. I spent all that time streaming,
Okay. So I've started recording, so it's all good. I have a separate system in which I can edit stuff out and things like that. So don't feel rushed. Don't feel like you have to do perfect. I can always go through and edit.
Oh yeah.
I personally like it when it's more of a conversation instead of this topic.
Yeah.
Because
it's not like a panel debate. It's a discussion.
It's a discussion. How has this affected your life?
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I totally forgot to clarify. I know I asked. Is it okay if I'm smoking?
It's gonna be. You can obviously tell we're not in the same area.
That's true. That's true. For anybody watching this, I live in Washington, where this is 100% legal, and I am 28 years old, well above the age to partake.
Yeah. I'm in a different state. Not just literally, but in a different state of mind. Dun, dun, dun.
Anyway, but yeah, so it's weird though. It hasn't really outside of my friendships and stuff, right? Because and even that didn't really become straight. I just wasn't really around as much. But the harder part really is trying to make shit work in the polycule, because I've got two other partners, 2.5, 3, sort of, outside of my marriage. So I have my wife who, we try and fit time in together. Our work schedules are weird, so I have time to stream anyway, so it's not a big deal. But if I'm streaming every weekend, I don't have time to go see my other partners over in Seattle. I don't have time to travel and go do what I need to go do with them and pay attention to the other, romantic partners or romantic relationships in my life, which is hugely important. Oh god, is my camera moving?
It did.
My camera's moving. Why is my camera moving?
Because I wanted to see the kitty. That's what it's going for.
That was really weird. Yeah, it's okay. Are we good?
Well, you were focusing it up earlier, so.
Okay. I might actually. You know what? Here, give me just 1 second here. I'm gonna off and. But yeah. So that's really been the hardest part for me is just making time, having to schedule stuff, because I am the worst at scheduling and like planning and maintaining that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that part. I personally, I'm a big schedule person. You have to give me 48 hours. If you are not giving me a 48-hour notice of you wanting me to do shit with you, the likelihood that it's going to happen is very slim to none. Not just only because of streaming, but also because I have to mentally prepare myself for said item or event or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I know streaming has definitely strained more family relationships because they for the longest time was like, oh, just come up and like just within a 24-hour sort of thing be like, yeah, you don't have anything going on, you're not doing anything. It's like, yes, I actually am. Just because I'm not at work does not mean that I am not working at something.
Right. Yeah. Like. Like just because I'm not busy doing what looks like busy work doesn't mean I'm not busy. Like, oh god, it's the worst. Like I'll be in the middle of streaming and get like 14 phone calls. It's like y'all couldn't pick tomorrow
Right.
or after 7:30 when you know that I'm off. Like it's the same time I get off every single day. Like, yeah, that's frustrating.
I also have noticed that I particularly take one day out of the entire week to schedule a lot of my Instagrams, a lot of my Facebooks and Twitters and things like that. And that sets up my week. So if anything is going to ajar it or, you know, try to move it around or whatever it may be, it's really difficult to not just maintain my life, but also like my schedule because this is something in which I would love for it to turn into said job, but I'm not going to count on it to be said job. And especially since it's one of those things in which not everybody's going to be a super fancy dancy multi-millionaire content creator. Like, it's really rare for that to even happen in the first place. But I still do enjoy making content and things like that.
Oh yeah. Like it's one of those things that like you don't have to be super successful at it to still enjoy doing it. Like the fun of doing it is in doing it. It doesn't really matter how many people are there.
Right. I know with some of my family, like my grandma doesn't necessarily understand it. But then again, my grandma's 80, so it's like the first likelihood that you're gonna understand it in the first place was pretty low. All that she cares is when I tell her, "Oh, I'm going upstairs and playing on my computer." She's like, "Okay, that's the extent of it." But when I'm like, "Hey," and I talk to like my cousin, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna be streaming and I'm doing all these things." He doesn't necessarily understand what he's helping with, but he's like, "Hey, what about if you post something like this?" And he's like, and he'll help like bounce ideas off. He's like, I know that I can't necessarily help make the thing that you're wanting to do, but I'll at least help by giving you ideas.
Right, and somebody to like spitball with.
Exactly, and he's like, it doesn't necessarily matter that he's not in the direct process, but he still likes spending time. Same with my other cousins, like, they're like, hey, we're spending time with you, this is what we got, we're not the best at trying to actually help you out, but we have no idea what you're doing, but here's what we can do to help.
Right. For me, it's a total solo project. So I don't mess with like I don't have scheduled Instagram posts. I don't do Twitter really. I have a Twitter. I don't really use it. I mostly use Facebook for shit posting. I guess I don't take the social media side of it super seriously because I frankly just don't have time. I work full time, I'm in school part time, and I'm streaming part time, and I also have all my other life stuff and home life to take care of. I just don't have time to be bothered to worry about it, I guess.
And that makes
so I've never really
sense.
Put that effort in.
Yeah, I know that it gets frustrating for me, and I only have a full-time job, but yet I don't have that extra which helps out in the long run compared to yours. But that's still one of those things that's why social media managers have jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh, God, yeah.
Well, that's how and why they have jobs. Is because people have, like, actual lives. Or they're like me, who sometimes I forget that I'm supposed to be posting shit right now.
Oh, yeah. Like, for me, like, a lot of the more, like, I guess, professional posts that I make are all pertaining to, like, my art and stuff. And that, like, I can't, like, force myself to just sit down and draw or whatever, like, so, like, I can't do planned posts like that. If I'm going to do something like that, I have to do it when I already am, like, sitting on a surplus of work that I haven't showed anybody yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can plan out some posts and be like, okay, well, I'll just show them this one, and then I'll show them this one, and in the meantime, I might draw some more, and then maybe have some more content when that's done, but, like, I don't know. I just, yeah, I don't take the social media aspect of it super seriously, but like I said, I'm also doing it on my own. Like,
and you're
most
also
of the
a part-time
support that I
student.
get is just through, like, my friends and stuff who, like, if they're playing games with me, and I always appreciate that. I think that makes way better content than me just sitting there playing games by myself.
No, I totally get that. I know when I play on my Friday simplex D&D sort of thing, like, I am, like, don't try to message me. I don't know what you're talking about. I am focused. My character is dying. My character is trying not to get poked. If it is a special interest, you cannot get me to shut up. We will talk for hours. Not gonna lie, it's gonna be fun. But I know also that when it comes down to relationships platonically with friends, it's I don't have a lot of friends in the first place, and I usually get with the hit and miss sort of thing to the first, like, on a normal when I wasn't streaming or anything like that. I'm very like meep 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 bye for like months to years on end, and then I'm like meep 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 meep.
Right. Kind of just what a background character almost, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Which is something that I'm trying to change about myself, but it is super hard to change from being a background character for all of your life to just trying to become a foreground, like somebody who's somewhat important but not.
Right. Well, it's all about assertiveness.
I ain't assertive.
It's all about the ability to just be like, I feel like talking to somebody right now. I'm gonna hit up all the group chats and see who's not busy, and then whoever's not busy, it's hard for me too because I'm not the kind of person who, like, seeks out interaction most of the time. Normally, I'm just kind of like, yeah, if people want to hang out, that's cool, but, like, I don't mind chilling by myself for a long time.
Right.
So, like, yeah, it was hard for me to kind of get to the point where I was like, if I want to hang out with people, I have to, like, actively pursue it and, like, make sure that I am hitting them up. And that's something I actually stopped doing so much when I started streaming more, because I'm streaming more, so I didn't have the time or the energy or whatever, or fucking even just, like, the forethought to think about it,
Right.
After streaming for 8 hours all day, to think, like, oh, I should hit up this person and see if they want to hang out or whatever. Like, at that point, you're so burnt out. It's like, I just kind of want to chill.
Right.
Like, play something that I want to play, or, like, hang out and watch YouTube or something. Just hang out and, like, not appease anyone for a minute.
Right. And that's the other thing about streaming, is that you are, like, as a way that I can put it, as a theater kid, you are on point, you are front stage, and you are also backstage with the electrical, the lights, and all that sort of stuff. All of that stress. But you're also front stage. You are the MC. You are all of these things. And it, to me, it's really hard for small streamers. Because when you get middle to big, right, you can always pawn something off on your mod, or, pay somebody, hey, can you go do this?
Oh, yeah.
Not when you're small.
Yeah, there's no doing that when you're maxing at, 10 viewers.
Right? And that's, I think my max ever was 12. I
can't remember what my max was. As of right now, I'm kind of averaging 2 or 3 people, but I've also just kind of gotten back into streaming for the first time in fucking almost 3 months. So I'm not taking it personal. It is what it is. It'll be slow to get back up anyway.
Right.
But I mean, even back when I was streaming constantly, I was averaging maybe 5 or 6 viewers a night.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing amazing, but fuck, I still love what I do.
Right.
but it does make it almost impossible to try and do anything in the realm of networking, or all the people that I hit you up and be like, oh, I've got all these total streamer packages for $150 or whatever. I'll set you up for everything you could need, and it's like, well, $150 that comes out of my day job paycheck, and I need that to buy food and pay rent.
Right. And that's that's what pisses me off. And I have on my Instagram, if you ever message me on Instagram, it literally says, I am not looking for display logos or anything like that. If it is regarding basically to go away. I will hit you up after I have done my research and I am ready for it. First up, second of all, I want to do my own art. I'm also an art person. I do digital art. I want to use my skills for my stuff. Granted, I get really confused with overlays, so I understand it takes me a minute.
Yeah, but, I've definitely considered reaching out for something doing my overlays and stuff like that. But starting screens, stuff like that, doing anything that's just a static image and not something that's moving or whatever, that's so easy. You just spend a few hours in an art editor and you can do all kinds of cool shit. Yeah. So I don't really need help with that kind of a thing, nor with avatars or emotes or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But overlays and stuff like that, when it comes to dealing with OBS and stuff, that is so outside of my realm of understanding, and I can't really be bothered to learn more about it right now, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. If streaming were a bigger part of my life, I would dedicate more time and effort to that aspect of things. But as for right now, it's a fun thing. Yeah. So I just have fun with it.
And that's the other thing. You should always have fun with it. For sure. If you're not having fun streaming or not having fun content creating in general, you might need to readjust on what you're creating and things like that. Because nothing, especially if it is not your main source of income, adjust it. There's a kitty!
Hi, bro. You wanna come say hi? This is my chunky bowling ball, baby.
Hi, chunky bowling ball. Oh, it's a baby.
This is Pearl. This is Pearl. Say hi, Pearl.
Hey, Pearl. How old's Pearl?
7?
7?
8? 7? Somewhere in there. She's a big baby.
I want to see if I have my big baby. Hey! You don't like to be picked up. There's my boy. There's my boy. Here's my boy.
Testing. Okay, you can hear me? Great. So, yeah, you're probably going to want to edit that out. So, this is Shane from ShanesWorld. Hello, hi, hope you're doing well. To everyone who's listening, MJ's a great Twitch streamer. Do give her a follow if you're listening to this. Check her out and everything. She's a great person overall. She has very chill streams. But enough about that. You guys are here about how streaming has affected relationships, which honestly, it's kind of a hardish topic in a way, just mostly because it's I've there have been plenty of moments when I pretty much have to tell like friends or like my mom no, because I have a stream planned, I have a streamed, lined up for that night, and I just can't, really, miss it because, if you're trying to get streaming, like get into it and become, be able to do it full time, you gotta put the hours in. You have to stay consistent, and if you're not consistent, and it's not because it's something that's out of your control, it's something that's in your control, then that is on you. And the reason if you don't have success is mainly because of that. And also trying to network outward on different social media like TikTok, Instagram, Hover is a great place for streamers. Snapchat, even Twitter, a whole bunch of other different places. Even YouTube. YouTube can definitely help out a lot as well. But I've had to decline a lot of invitations and other things because I literally tell them like, hey, once I'm able to do this full time, I'll be able to hang out with you a lot more often because I'll be able to have a more, consistent schedule of like when I stream and be able to, switch it up a little bit to where it's more, it's nicer and it's nicer on me as well. Obviously, if you're going to do something, stick with something that's consistent, that's you can keep up with consistently, even if it's like once a week. You'll grow as long as you stay consistent. I've had plenty of times where if our friend needed to actually really come over, I would literally tell him like, hey, it's fine that you're on stream, but that's only up to you. If you want to be on here and actually be seen, let me know. If not, then maybe you just go chill in the living room while I do the stream. Because I'm really in it to win it type of thing. It's not exactly a healthy thing, but if it's something, it's a goal-driven thing, you gotta put some things aside, and maybe some people will be disappointed, but the ones who are truly there for you will understand. Like my mom, for example, she truly understands, and she doesn't, hold it against me. If you run into people that hold it against you, then that's on them, because honestly, if they don't support you and they don't support the dream you have, they're not meant to be there when you achieve your dream and go on to the next step of achieving a different and bigger dream. Oh, words. So honestly, it affects a relationship, and the people who are used to having your attention full time, all day, every day, who are used to having your attention like a lot, they're if they don't understand it and they're not there for it, then they're probably gonna be the first ones to go. I'm just gonna state it out there. It does affect your relationship between you and other people. I mean, if other people are like, they want to do like similar things that you do on stream, and if like, say for example, you stream a multiplayer game and they want to play with you online to kind of have you have like that talk and then just commentary in the background and everything while you stream, which people do like. Because if it's you all by yourself, unless you have something kind of like planned out with jokes or you're good at like improvising, then it can be a little hard to do it, especially if you're starting out. A lot of the time, I'm thankful that I do have friends that support me in my dream and that I am able to have them along the journey with me. Even if it's hard sometimes, because they're not going to be able to make it all the time, which is perfectly fine. If you have a friend that's with you like a good amount of time, like say for example, you're both having like a really good month and they're able to be there like every day you stream, be there to back you up, that's awesome. But you have to be prepared for the months that, they're not doing so well and you're doing good, so they're not going to be able to make it, which is perfectly fine. You gotta let them do them. but as long as they're there for you, then it ends up being worthwhile in the end. Only other things I can really say is that unless, I'm just going to reiterate the same thing, unless they are there and they're actually there to support you and they're not going to see your dream like the way you do, and if they're fine with that and they understand and they just want to be there for you to help you out so you can just grow as a streamer yourself, then yeah, go for it. It is by far one of the most eye-opening things because it shows you a lot of people who are only there for you because you had the free time to give them attention, and that's mainly it. While you will meet people along the way, like other streamers, like MJ is, that they understand, you're a streamer. There are sometimes things don't go the way as planned, and there are some times that, you might not be able to make it, or that you might not be able to, fulfill a promise here and there because just life just catches up, a lot of different things, because they're in the same situation as you are. So, unless they're one of the ones that are just going to be, kind of toxic and blaming everything on you and stuff like that. But if you find really good streamer friends, hold on tight to them because those are going to be the type of friendships that'll last a lot longer because they understand the struggles that you're going through, so they'll have the most insight into what you're going through. But if you have those true friends, like I have a few friends that have stuck with me through this, and there have been hard times between me and them, but we've gotten through it, so I appreciate them a lot because of it. So I really do say that if you do have friends like that, not precious them, appreciate them. That's the word. Appreciate the heck out of them because those type of friends are rare and few in between. And if you do find those while you're going through this journey, or if you find out who are the real ones for you and who are the fakes, then just let it happen. Let the fakes weed themselves out and leave, and then let the true ones, stay, and you'll just have room for better quality people. But if you're like in a relationship or anything, I'm not exactly sure how that would affect the relationship because I'm still a single potato. So that part, I wouldn't recommend relying on me for advice on. But yeah, that's mainly it. All right, well, hope you enjoyed MJ's podcast. I hope this has been some eye-opening stuff for you, and hopefully you like, subscribe, and follow, and whatever else you can do that will help the podcast grow. Until next time, take it away, MJ, or whoever else is next after me. Bye.